money. I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm. Having a good time.
Hello and welcome to the Nerd in Motion. You join me as I start my EV journey. I've just been looking at like various EVs. We kind of need another car. And, you know, I just thought, you know, I say a lot of bad stuff about EVs. Well, no, I don't say bad stuff about EVs. I just say the things that kind of bug me about EV owners, probably. Not so much the cars. Although, as you know, I don't think they're the answer. But, you know, I think I should just join them. So, I'm looking at these cars at the moment. So look at this beauty. This has done, this is like $2,500. It's done 40,000 miles. I think that it's a 4-door. I think that could be really good for me. So that's certainly one that I'm considering. And then there's this, which I really like, which is a Chevy Volt. It's sort of, what was it, nearly $8,000. It's kind of top of my budget, but I kind of like them because they look cool. You know, they're pretty snazzy. So, right, we're going to go and have a look at a couple of cars. So, yeah, I better go and get my jacket on. The biggest problem here is getting power from my house to get my plug to the garden. And so that's going to be a challenge, and you know, that could be a problem really. So yeah, luckily I didn't buy an EV, and instead I bought a Mercedes E-Class because I just wanted to buy a Mercedes E-Class, and it's diesel, and it's lovely, and it was cheap. And this car has full Mercedes-Benz history from brand new. It's got every single service, everything that's ever been needed has been done at Mercedes-Benz. It's even got proper Mercedes-Benz wipers that were fitted. It's a little bit older, it's got the older front end. It's an 11 plates, it's not the newest thing. And I bought this for £4,000. If I was going to dog it on anything, the wheels could do with a refurb. There's a tiny crack in the windscreen. Just the petrol flap could do with repainting because it's faded. So I don't know whether somebody replaced the petrol flap at some point, but yeah, it needs doing. The back of the car, well, my kids have been in there this weekend, so you can see. But it's got the original mats. Needs a good vat now. It's got a pan roof, and this all opens and closes. We'll show you that in a minute. But the condition is just amazing. The glass has been tinted. The tint has faded slightly because I think it was put in when it was new. It's got Isofix in it. If you want total luxury, you can pull that out. The kids love this. You can open that, you've got your cup holders. It's got power outlet down there. The kids say it's super comfy in the back. Got great stereo system on it. So, let me open the boot. It's got one of these fancy Mercedes keys. So if you press that, the boot opens. It's covered in water, but normally it pings up. So massive boot on it, with hooks. Still got its first aid kit in here. Let me open this. It's got the floor tray, and then under there, tools, space saver, old empty water bottle just randomly in there. So yeah, massive boot. Seats don't fold down in this. Still got its warning triangle up there, which is a bit of a shame. Let me get in it. It's got the weirdest tyre sizes as well. It's got 265 35s on the rear. And I thought, well, that can't be right. And actually, when I had a look, it was correct, because in the book pack, which is down here, I dropped my pen as well. It's got the original. It's got the original certificate of conformity, and it shows that those were the wheels that were fitted on it. That's the mileage. Oh, my wife, it's got auto wipers, auto blooming everything. Last night I discovered something I didn't know it had, which was it's got auto dip beam. So when it's got auto headlights, which are down there, they come on, and then you just push your stalk forward like that and leave it, and then it senses when cars are coming the other way, and it automatically dips the lights. If you can see under there, it's got a light that runs all the way under there, and it actually goes under the door cards as well. This beautiful pleated leather, and I love this. I really want it. I don't know why. I've got a thing about piano black, and this is not piano black, but it's like really dark wood, almost black. Sat nav, it's got sat nav. You can use your spinning wheel down here to go through all the different things. I also bought a little adapter that goes in here, which allows Bluetooth music. Weirdly, on this particular year, there is a hack that you can do to get the phone to connect to the car for music, but on this one I couldn't work out how to do it. But this will play standard. It won't play the music, but it'll do all your calls for you, so you never have to touch your phone. The biggest problem I've had is I keep leaving the phone in the car and going inside and then having to come back out again. You've got heated seats both sides, they're controllable. You've got dual climate down here. It's got, say, this button here. So I had the old 211, I think it was, E-Class E300 diesel many years ago, the one with the round blobby headlights, and if you press that, the headrests would fold flat. On this one they don't fold flat, but if you've pulled up these headrests higher, they will slide back down again. It's got this fancy blind. If you decide it's too hot in summer and your head is burning, you can do that. This, because it's wet, I'm not going to open it, but it tilts up and it slides all the way back. You can turn your rear light, interior light on from in here. You can turn these ones on. You can put reading lights on, which are under the mirrors here. You've got a button here to turn off the alarm if somebody's towing your car, and you can turn off so say you've got a dog or you've got a wild child like me, and you might pop in the petrol station and you lock your car because there's some nefarious looking people around. You can hit that and it'll turn the ultrasonics off inside the car. It's got these little things here, which if you get close to stuff, it beeps and gets mad at you. It's got the handbrake, which is a pedal, extra pedal down here, which you push down and then you release there. You've got your electric windows, your electric mirrors that fold in and fold out. You can do all sorts of stuff with your lighting. This is currently doing 39.4 miles to the gallon, which is absolutely fine. This is your cruise control, and also you can use it as a speed limiter if you push it in and that lights up, so you can just limit the maximum amount of speed. Depends on how you like to drive. You've got a little button here, and this is where I keep my spare sunglasses. I mean, it all needs a really good vac in here. It hasn't been valeted yet. The guy that I bought it off, this came out of a main dealer, and he basically bought it, saw that it was a good car, and just said, right, I'm having it. And he did me a really good deal. Now, admittedly, its MOT is coming up shortly, and it needs a service shortly. But both of those things are things that I can do. So I'm going to get it in and get it done. Also, this sat-nav, I noticed yesterday, we were testing it out, and it showed that there was a traffic jam. So I wonder if there is some sort of live update from that sat-nav, which is quite incredible if it is, because this is like a 2011 car. The other thing is you can get a module that it's plug and play. So you take the screen out, you take this out, and then this stereo, you lift 2 blocks up and it slides out, and you put it in and it's plug and play. And basically you can then put Apple CarPlay, you can put Android Auto, and you can run that all off this direct kit, and you can do it all on the steering wheel. I'll show you quickly some of the mad stuff in here. So you can flick through, you can have instant miles to the gallon, you can have your speed if you want, and also if you're abroad it will give you the kilometers as well, which we like to drive in Europe sometimes, so that's quite fun. So you've got your instant MPG. I gave it some welly and it did 32 MPG, which is a bit naughty. If we go through to nav, so now it will tell you what road you're on, which direction of travel you are. You can let me just press that. Yeah, there's no other function around that. You can also go on to audio, so you can see I'm currently on AUX. So if we go, let's say we go to radio, it'll tell you, oh, I'm going to get a copyright straight. It will tell you what channel you're on. You can adjust it all here as you go. Then you've got your telephone. Currently I've not got this connected, but you can see who's ringing you. It kind of mirrors everything that goes on there, which you don't, to be honest, you don't really need, because you've already got it there. But it's like extra information, I guess. One thing, Lids finds it really handy because the speedo goes around the outside. It's like a floating needle, and she prefers to have the speed in the middle. So when she drives it, she was like, "Oh, you're getting an old E-Class. It's a bit of an old man's car." Anyway, she keeps nicking it. So yeah, she's taken it out a few times now. Heated rear screen. I'm trying to think of anything I've missed off this that I haven't told you. Oh yeah, the gearbox. So you've got park, reverse, neutral and drive, and then you've got E and S. So economy, sport, which if you press it swaps it over, just changes the pedal sort of sensitivity, I think, and also holds it in gear longer if you put it in sport. So it will rev up to closer to the rev limit, and then it will change gear. But I drive it around in E most of the time because this car doesn't lend itself to being driven like an absolute lunatic. My mate's got the same car, but the sport, which has AMG wheels, AMG brakes, a different body kit, different lighting package, but his has got another one on there. I think he's got ESW on his. You've got 2 cup holders, which have got receipts in. You've also got cubby storage under the seat there. The seats are fully electric apart from the slide backwards and forwards, and they have bolster adjustment as well. A really cool thing is when you put your seatbelt on, I don't know if it'll do it with nobody in the car, but it'll put the seatbelt on and then it pulls it tight. Did you see that? That's pretty cool. So yeah, it does that. But it's just, I mean, I keep finding stuff on it all the time. I really like this car, and you know what, it's 111,000 miles, but it's still going. I love the fact that you can see the pointed star on it when you're driving. It's so pimping. I love it. I just love it. I love it a lot. But yeah, it's done a few miles, but it's been really well looked after. It's probably going to need a few bits. I'm expecting for its MOT it'll need something or other. Oh yeah, also wipers as well. I love Mercedes-Benz wipers. They've always been a work of art. They used to have like a 190s and stuff had a single wiper that sort of went and did the whole screen, and it was on like a cam, and it was just amazing. Just such a cool car. There's some styling cues outside that are quite interesting, and this is where I'm going to get, and you'll see why I'm called the nerd. So here, this one here, this swage line that goes down like that, that's reminiscent of something called a Mercedes Polton, which is a really old Mercedes, and it also has these swage lines here from the grille. I mean, lots of Mercedes had that. So there's little bits and bobs around the car that are old styling cues. Right, let's go for a drive. Okay, let's take this beast for a drive. Watch the seatbelt. And tweaks it out. It is ridiculous, isn't it? So you put your seatbelt on, and then it gives it a little pull to make sure it's properly tight. Crazy, absolutely crazy. So I love this car. It's so easy to drive, so smooth. 7-speed automatic gearbox. It is absolutely lovely. It's telling me that I've got nobody in the back seats, in case I hadn't realised. The Mercedes, this is a W212, as I understand, and they built this, and they really had a focus on safety and reliability, and also they had in previous years a bit of a rust issue. So this car was kind of not meant to be a rock box. So to be fair on it, it's not, you don't see many of these with rust on. Get the odd one, but on the whole they're pretty good. Now this one, when it's cold like this, it's not fully up to temperature. If you're in drive and you're stood still, you can tell that it's a diesel. There's a little bit of vibration from the engine, but once it warms up, that goes. It gets real smooth. And I will say, you wouldn't believe this car has done the mileage that it's done, and also with the low profile tyres, which, to be honest, I had an 850R Volvo before, and that had like rubber bands for tyres, and that used to like walk around on the roads. If there are any bumps, it used to wiggle around. This, not so much. It's very very well sprung, and it points, it's very pointy. If you point it to go somewhere, it goes that way. It doesn't wobble about. Our roads are terrible around here, and it really is like there. It really is genuinely a nice, comfy drive, even with those low profiles on. Now, I bought this one. I wanted the newer shape one with the newer front end and the newer rear end. Had some improvements in the inside. They did away with the 2 swage marks on the back like the Polton, by changing the back doors. And the whole point one of the things about that update was it was one of the most expensive updates of a vehicle, costing €1 billion. And they went through this particular car and put many improvements in. The problem is, for me, it was that much more expensive to buy that model. We're talking a good £2,000 more. And the problem was, I couldn't really justify it when the mileage was higher to buy that slightly newer model. So like, this has got xenons and LED running lights, and it's got all the lights that come on when you're going slow and you're moving left and right. It lights up the areas that you're pointing at. It does all of that. It's got auto dipping and all that, and the LED ones do exactly the same thing. So when I kind of questioned why I was buying the car, the only reason I was buying the newer model is because, well, I just didn't want other people to think I had an old car. And really, that's vanity, isn't it? It's just total vanity. I mean, cars are vanity anyway, but I just thought, you know what, I'll find an older car, but a really well looked after car. And I fell upon this one, and it is lovely. I mean, there's not barely a rattle or a squeak in it, and we're on a kind of pretty bumpy road. I wanted a pan roof. I don't know why. I don't know what the benefit is. It'd be nice in summer with it open. The kids love it. They're like, oh look, their latest thing is they sit in the back and they look up out through the roof and see what faces and shapes and patterns they can see in the clouds, which is really sweet. They love it as well. There's plenty of leg room in the back. It's super comfortable. They've got a power outlet so they can charge their devices on a long journey. I am super impressed with the drive. It's fast enough that it's fun. It's also a big lazy automatic when it wants to be, and I really enjoy that. This engine is the 2.1 litre Mercedes diesel engine, which is also the same engine that you find in the it's coming to me, the Mercedes Sprinter, of course, the infamous Sprinter. So this engine is capable of some absolutely mega mileage, and this is why you saw this car. If you've been on holiday abroad, you will see Mercedes C and E classes everywhere because they make awesome taxis. One of the other things that's really good with them, they have one of the best turning circles you've ever seen. Like, this thing will turn around. It like, you don't have to do a 3-point turn, maybe 2 at best. It's amazing when you think how long it is as well. It's a very long car. One of the things I'm trying to get used to is now I'm driving this. I've been driving vans for a personal vehicle since 2004, and I find, like, obviously most vans have short bonnets. This doesn't. I pull up to a junction and I'm like sticking way over the line, so I'm having to get used to that. That's a strange feeling, but yeah, I love it in here. It's just such a nice place to be. Comfy, quiet. Still gets a few looks. People look at the car probably because they think I'm in a funeral procession, or maybe they just need a taxi, but maybe they like the car. I don't know. I love having the 3-star flying 3-star at the front. It's a beautiful thing on the bonnet. It makes the car feel different. I don't know why, but it does. I feel like I should have little flags as well sticking out the bonnet. The new one doesn't have that. They don't have the flying star in the front, which is a bit of a shame. So smooth. The gear changes are like silk in this. Absolutely love it. So nice to drive. Just so nice. The brakes are amazing. They're quite keen actually, but they're not too keen. When you're on the motorway, 70 mile an hour just feels like 40. It just wafts along at 70 mile an hour, no problem. Braking off the motorway, like we do a downhill run nearly every day. Coming off the motorway, 70 mile an hour indicate, and it just so straight as a die when it brakes, and it no effort at all. It really is just beautiful. I am so pleased with this car, and yeah, you know, I didn't buy a hybrid and I didn't buy an EV, and I did clickbait you right at the start with this video. I'm sorry, but why didn't I buy them? And you know, I genuinely did look. I had a look. You could get this. You could get the newer shape one of these, an E300H, which is the hybrid version, quite quick as well. And I thought, oh wow, that. But when I looked into it, there were a lot of problems with them on the forums. People seemed to have issues with the hybrids. A lot of people didn't know how to get them repaired. A lot of mechanics didn't want to do work on them, and I'm sure there's some guys out there you would know, but I haven't got a load of experience with hybrids other than Prius when it first came out. You really just don't know much about them. The second thing was, it was about getting the car and having a charging port put in the back garden. That was a lot of money. You know, when we got a quote for it, I was surprised how expensive it was. because our parking isn't directly at the back of our house. So there's a lot of groundwork that needs doing. So that would have been an added cost on top of the car, which meant the car I couldn't get as good a car as I wanted. So battery degradation. So the amount of, or the condition of the battery over time in an EV or a hybrid deteriorates. And in warmer weather it's worse. Well, we're in the very coldest part, or certainly the colder part of England, so it's not so much of an issue. But it's very difficult to find any information on like how those batteries degrade. So you kind of don't know what the range is going to be. And I didn't want to buy a car that, if it was a hybrid, it was never using the hybrid element of the car. It was always just driving around on the petrol or diesel engine. And then the other part of it was I didn't want to have a car where it was, you know, potentially, if it was a full battery EV, where you are in a situation where you charge it up all night and actually you've only got 5 miles because it's freezing cold and the battery's completely come down to like next to nothing, and then the missus is stranded with kids in the car and it's snowing or something like that. I just don't want that as a thing. Admittedly, this thing's rear wheel drive. Unless I have some mud and snow tyres, she ain't going anywhere in this thing. But she's got a Tiguan that plods on. So yeah, so for me, I just didn't like, I didn't have the confidence to buy a second-hand one, an old one. And I wasn't going to buy a new one because, one, I don't have the money, and even if I did, I wouldn't want to take the hit on depreciation that you get from, you know, an EV. At the moment, the price, you buy one new and like the depreciation is just mental. You could buy this car like 5 times over if you bought an expensive EV. So yeah, so I bought this Mercedes and I absolutely love it. It's great. Absolutely great. I'm well happy with it. And I think I might put a private plate on it because I've never bought a private plate. I feel it's like a bit frivolous, but it would be nice. And also it's another video, isn't it? I can show you how the process is and what you need to do and how to get a good price. So yeah, it's all pretty exciting. So I hope you like this car, and if you want to see me do some bits to it, then well, one of them, it needs a proper clean, and we also need to take it to the garage because it's going to need an MOT in a couple of months, and we kind of need to see what it needs for a test. So we'll film that because I've got to do it anyway. And yeah, I've also sorted out all my truck driving things, so there's another video coming about that. So yeah, I've been John, and I'm the Nerd in Motion. So I'll see you all later, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Goodbye.
nice.